Hello and welcome to another BODYFX tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be showing you how to create a very basic skull makeup. We're going to start with our white face paint, and using our sponge we're going to activate the face paint with a little bit of water. Then applying the paint directly onto the face, no need for any moisturizer beneath it. You want to basically cover the entire face, but you want to miss out the eye sockets, a little bit underneath the cheekbones and the nose. These areas will be painted black. Using the same sponge, flip it over and load up your black face paint. If your sponge is fully saturated with white paint, you might choose to rinse it out first, make sure it's not too wet, and load up your black paint. We're going to fill in the eye sockets. If you've created a little bit of a mess with your sponge, you can then move on to using your brush and just make sure that you get a nice clean edge around these eye sockets. You can also use your brush to go into the little areas that you may have missed with your sponge, like the corners of the eyes and underneath the eyes as well. Make sure that the paint is nice and dry before you or your model opens their eyes, as this may cause some creasing. Now it's time to fill in the nose. So for a skull nose, you want to create 2 points on the top of the nose and then fill in the full nose area. Some people might prefer to have this nose a little bit smaller, so you can bring the points down a bit lower as well for a cuter look. Now we're going to outline this shape underneath the cheekbones, so you can actually feel where the cheekbones sit on the face, and we're just going to create a line underneath that. That's then going to loop down to go towards the corner of the mouth. Then we want to create this lower line as well that links up to the top line to create a sort of wobbly triangle shape. This shape is now the hollow part of the cheek. So once you have created this shape, you can then fill in the entire area with black. We're now going to create a small line that attaches this shape towards the ear, and then bring this down around the jawbone. We also want to make a little hollow in the temple, so this is just a little C shape where the temple is. And also using your brush, you can create some little points coming up from the mouth, and these are of course the teeth. Now there are many different ways that you can do skull teeth. You can do full teeth as well as full rounded shapes. However, this is a more simplified version and it creates a similar effect. Now we're going to create these two little points coming up from those triangle shapes, and this really finishes off the cheekbone. Now we're going to go in with a black shader and a little fluffy brush, and we're going to add some more depth to this makeup by adding some shadows. First we're going to add some shadow to the temples and then also underneath the cheekbones, and just adding a little bit more texture and depth around the face. Adding some black eyeshadow to any of your line work does soften it and gives it more of an airbrushed effect. It is wise, however, to not go too overboard with your shading, as it can become a little bit muddy, so it's good to know when to stop. Now that we've created all of these shadows, it's time to create some highlights to really make this makeup pop. So using a brush and some white face paint, we're going to create a highlight underneath the eye sockets. You can add some highlights to the teeth. And we also want to make a highlight on the cheekbones just above that darker shape. From here on out, you can add whatever other details you would like. We hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're into this kind of content, then please subscribe to our channel and check out our other tutorials.